We are live. We are live. Hey, that shows me looking at my phone. What's up with that? I'm not looking at my phone. We are live. All right. We're getting two different streams here, folks. Hey, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Elk Talk Live. We're going to get to what I got in my hand here in a second. But Michael and I are sitting here sorting out why is that screen different than everything else that's feeding here. But looks like we're good to go. I want to thank everybody for being here. We missed last week because we were on the Kaibab Plateau, like the iconic mule deer place of the world, hunting mule deer in Arizona last week. And I wish I had some great big mule deer rack here to show you, but I don't. So anyhow, Elk Talk Live is brought to you by all these great groups. Bowtech, right here, we're going to talk about this. Leupold, Onyx Maps, or Onyx as we call them now. Use promo code Randy on Onyx on all their app products and you're going to get 20% off. Tight Spot Quivers, Black Gold Rests, Ripcord Arrow Rests, Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation, GoHunt.com. Go Hunt right now if you use promo code Randy. They're going to give you $50 of free credit in their gear store. The gear shop of gear shops. So what I'm holding right here, maybe you've been under a rock today, but today is the release day of the new Realm, which is the new bow from Bowtech. And I got back from Arizona and this one was sitting on my wife brought it in the house. It wasn't sitting on my porch. Went out, got it set up yesterday at Big Sky Archery here in Montana, in Bozeman. Great Bowtech Pro Shop. I always use a Pro Shop if I possibly can because they know what they're doing. Got it all set up and thump, thump. Man, smooth, quiet. I like it. I like it a lot. You're going to hear a lot about this bow, so if you get a chance, you're going to want to check out the new Realm by Bowtech. The other thing tonight, the folks at Onyx decided that they're going to pick a couple people who ask questions, and they're going to randomly pick winners. So if you ask a question on any of the platforms today, they're going to pick two winners for their elite membership, which is a very valuable thing. And if you don't have it on this phone, you're missing out. We're heading to eastern Montana to mule deer hunt tomorrow, taking a disabled vet there. And where we're hunting, it is this crazy pattern of public-private, some state land, some BLM land, some Forest Service land, a lot of block management, which is Montana's program where they pay private landowners to allow for hunting. Without the Onyx system, I don't know how we do it. So they're going to give away a couple goodies tonight. And we have a new number that if you want to be notified, you want to get on the list for everything, or you want to share this with your friends, the new number to get notified on everything is you want to text Randy, R-A-N-D-Y, to the number 77453. 77453. So with that, we're going to jump into some questions right away. And one of the things that we got to talking about last week when we were out on this hunt, we started singing the Bruce Springsteen song called Glory Days. Great song. If you've never heard it, go Google Bruce Springsteen, the boss, Glory Days. And it was about, we called them glory tags. And the whole idea was, oh man, we have what some people think are glory tags, but we hit a full moon, we hit hot weather, we hit windy weather, we only had 4.5 days to hunt. This is really tough. The point of it was that a lot of people think that if you draw the tag that you're guaranteed something, as though there's a 350-inch bull or a 190-inch mule deer behind every, on every ridge, behind every tree. We proved to everybody that's not the case. So the whole idea of these quote-unquote glory tags is you take, maybe it's a once in a lifetime, you've built your points, maybe it's a state without points, and you've taken forever to draw. Well, don't think that just because you have the tag that it's a slam dunk. I've proven I have an Arizona strip mule deer tag unpunched in my dresser drawer. Now I have a Kaibab deer tag in my drawer. I got a few others. I got a New Mexico 2B, which is Northwest New Mexico, mule deer tag in my drawer. I've got some of these supposed glory tags that I've never even put around in the chamber or put an arrow on the string. But they're fun. You go there and there's the excitement of knowing, well, oh gosh, there could be that one I've been dreaming of at any time. So that adds the intrigue. But what you run into often with these glory tags, especially in elk hunting, I think, is people put too much pressure on themselves. They end up feeling like, oh man, if I don't shoot a 350-inch bull, I'm failing in some way. No. When you draw one of these glory tags, go there and know that it's still going to be a challenging hunt. There are no slam dunks. Have fun. That's what the tag is for, is to have fun. Don't put a bunch of pressure on yourself. So, all right. So it's, wait a second. People are saying that I put the wrong number on there for the...
Yeah, a bunch of people been asking.
Oh, so they're going to 77453, and someone's saying it's 77353. So we'll sort that out, folks. Yeah, we better get that sorted out, or people are going to be texting to the wrong things, and that won't be good. Hey, Rick, you said you got your first elk in Idaho. Congratulations. A lot of people ask, what do I think of elk hunting in Idaho? Well, I think it's great because I have a lot of friends who go there elk hunting. And in the sequence of how the state draws work each year, Wyoming starts first, then Arizona, then kind of a whole mix of Montana, Utah, Colorado, Nevada, New Mexico, all in a bundle. And then the very last state is Idaho. Well, usually by then, we've set our schedule and our calendar for the whole year. And anything we apply for in Idaho is just going to be like a long shot because we've already got all of the tags we probably need. So to those of you who always ask, why don't we end up hunting in Idaho for elk? Well, the reason is because usually the calendar's already full, and the limited entry permits we apply for in Idaho are, well, they're really, really hard. So the odds are we're not going to draw them. And then people say, well, but you can get over-the-counter tags in Idaho. Why don't you come on an over-the-counter tag? If ever we have an opening and we needed tags, we would. But I'm not going to go do an over-the-counter Idaho tag and give back a limited entry tag in another state. So, all right. Randy, how heavy is your day pack while hunting, and how heavy will your pack be when you're packing out an animal? When I'm hunting, my day pack is usually around 25 to 30 pounds. That's including a lot of stuff. And if you go to our YouTube channel, you'll see where I do a bunch of bag dump videos. And it's just me shaking out what's in that pack. So you get a feel for, okay, here's what it is on an elk hunt. Here's what it is on a bear hunt, if it's a day hunt or a backpack hunt. We're carrying a lot of camera gear. I'm always carrying extra water, survival stuff, game bags, things to process an elk while I'm out there in the field. So that's why my bag is probably heavier than some people. But I use these Mystery Ranch packs. So the beauty is they collapse down really tight, right up against your back. So they're a great day pack. And then when you need them to haul stuff, they have these load shelves on them, and they will get really big. I can put more meat on that load shelf than my body wants to carry. As far as weight, when I'm out there packing something out, I used to be this, oh, let's try get it done in fewer trips. And I found that that's really hard on your body, your knees, your ankles, everything, because most places you shoot an elk is not nice flat going. It's usually steep, side hill, it's a blow down, it's something. So now I'm usually keeping my pack weight when I'm heading out around between 60 and 70 pounds. I know guys who will go way over that, and that's fine if that's what you want to do, but for me, I'd rather make an extra trip. And usually I have the luxury of, all right, I have an extra day if I need it, and I've got me, I've got the camera crew, so I try not to overdo it, because a good way to hurt yourself, possibly mess up a knee or something else, is to have too much weight. in these tough, terrain conditions. So that's kind of what my pack looks like. The older you get, the more they weigh. Boy, oh man, I think I was just saying that last month. We were in New Mexico, and Tracy Pettit shot a bull. And as we were walking out, and this is going to be on our YouTube channel here probably in the next month or so, I'm only carrying, I think, a boned out hindquarter and a whole bunch of production gear. And I'm thinking to myself, you know what, Randy? The older you get, the more this weighs. And it was just my birthday last weekend. I'm 53 now. Oh my goodness. Oh, I am getting old. So, all right, Michael, what do you got over there on YouTube? Anything?
A couple people have asked, what is the elite membership from OnX, and then how do you save your maps when you
Okay. People are asking, what's the elite membership on OnX? There's different levels. You go there and click on what all it includes. It includes a whole lot more than just the basic membership. I can't get into all of it. But a lot of people are asking, well, what do you do if you don't have service? Well, I click my app button. I move over here to where it says OnX. And this, if you go and say, there's a button that says off grid. So you hit off grid, and then you can save the map as a file that will work when you're in airplane mode. So when I'm out of coverage and I'm not anywhere near coverage, I don't want to be having my phone look for coverage all the time and ruin the battery. What I have done is I've saved a map before I even go out in the hills, and I'll save multiple maps at times. And now when I go off grid, I can look at any of those maps. When you're in airplane mode, your GPS still works, you're fine. You're off and running. So let's see. What tripod do I use for glassing, and when are you going to start my own llama herd? You've been watching our YouTube channel with the llama hunting that we've been doing. We did 2 hunts with llamas this year. My buddy Bo Beatty, who owns Wilderness Ridge Trail Adventures in Idaho, he came with us in Wyoming. And then my buddy Wade Zarlingo in Arizona brought his llamas on our Arizona elk hunt. It was an eye-opener for me. My idea of where I can go and what I can do as far as backpack elk hunting is now way, way wider. My backpack elk hunting career probably just got extended 10 to 15 years thanks to llamas. So anything that I haven't hunted that's on my bucket list? No, not really. I'm really partial to North American species. So I guess maybe, yeah, my own bighorn sheep tag would be great, but I've never drawn one. I've joined other friends on their hunts. So that's probably my bucket list that I've not hunted. I don't know. I really enjoy the things. As I've went and tried to do all these crazy places and exotic things, I'm finding that I'm having as much fun hunting right in my backyard again as I do some of these other places. I don't know if it's kind of this retro, kind of the cycle of how a hunter evolves, but now I'm missing hunting some of my favorite spots right in my backyard. So their bucket list, just give me an elk tag and let me go. Does OnX have a chip for Alaska? Yes, it does. What about mountain lion? Have I ever hunted mountain lion? I've not hunted mountain lion. I've been on some chases for mountain lion, but I've never hunted them myself. One of our camera guys, Tyler Jonerson, is an amazing cat guy. He's done mountain lion video, done a lot of work with groups. You'll see some of the documentaries on Nat Geo and places like that. A lot of that footage is Tyler's. He is a lion guy like you can't believe. So he's let me come along on some of his chases. It is really cool. All right, someone said they just tagged out today near Broadus. After the first shot, 2 llamas came running out of the coulee. No joke. That's what he said, no joke. Don't shoot the llamas. So this is a true story. In the 1990s, Montana used to have check stations all over the place. A non-resident airman who was based in Great Falls got his hunting license, and he went out and he shot an animal field dressed it, everything, went through the check station, thought he had shot a white-tailed doe. He had shot, gutted, and tagged a llama. Honest to God. It was in every newspaper in Montana. This was like in 93, 94, 95. Gosh, I would be shocked if 2 llamas went running out of the coulee after I shot a deer. Okay, this is a really good question. And we've talked about it on some of our Elk Talk YouTube videos. But the person is asking, what's the difference between preference points and bonus points? So you're thinking about, hey, maybe I want to apply in some of these western states for an elk hunt. And every western state, we specialize in coming up in some of the most crazy schemes for how to draw tags. I know a lot of you, if you're watching from the Midwest or other states in the South or the East, you just go down and you buy your deer tag, right? And you're done. Not in the West. Even in the rest, a lot of the states in the West, the residents even have to go through this drawing process. And here's how it works. There's either no point system, which would be Idaho and New Mexico, or there's a preference point system, which I'm going to explain, and there's a bonus point system. Preference points are every year in both a bonus point and preference point. Every year you're unsuccessful, you get another point. In a preference point system, he or she with the most points gets the tag. So if you have 10 points and I have 8, you're going to get the tag before I do. So let's say there's 3 tags and someone with 12 points applies, they got a tag. Someone with 11 points applied, they got the tag. And you with your 10 points, you got the tag. So all 3 tags, by the time they get to you, are gone. Now they come down and they look at me and they're like, oh, Randy, you only had 8 points. The tags for the unit you applied for, they went to the 3 people with the highest points. That's a preference point system. A bonus point system is kind of like a raffle. I mean, everybody knows what a raffle is, right? You go buy a ticket, they throw your name in the bucket and they pull it out and maybe you win. And sometimes a person only buys 1 ticket and they win, and somebody bought 30 tickets and they didn't win. Well, bonus points are kind of like raffle tickets. It means that you get assigned more random numbers, or you get assigned a random number for every bonus point you're assigned. So let's just say, and this is for simplicity because some states even square these bonus points. I'm not going to get into that. But you've got 5 bonus points, I got 2. You get 5 random numbers assigned to you, I get 2 assigned to me. So the odds are you've got about a 2.5 times better probability of drawing the same tag than I do. Doesn't mean that I can't draw it. It means that probability says you got a better chance than I do because you get assigned 5 random numbers, I only get assigned 2. So I apologize that Western states have come up with these crazy schemes, but it is what it is. And if you want this system or the research service, whatever you want to call it, the website that tells and explains this better than any place I know, it's gohunt.com. They're part of the companies that are bringing you the Elk Talk Live that we do every week. Gohunt.com, go there, and when you sign up for their insider service, use promo code Randy and you're going to get $50 of free store credit in their gear shop. So let's see. Man, you guys are busting my chops tonight. Someone's saying that Carrie Underwood is a lot better looking than me. Well, no kidding. I know a lot of people who are way better looking than me. Let's see. So, boy, these are scrolling through so fast. What do you got, Michael?
How do you handle high winds when hunting?
Oh, that's a good question. We just talked about this last week. How do we handle high winds when we're hunting? And I told everybody there, I said, I will hunt in cold. I will hunt in heat, rain, full moon, new moon. I don't care what. I hate hunting in the wind. I've not figured out how to be effective hunting in the wind. Other than, in my mind, and I kind of take what you... In the antelope world, it's easy to see where you should hunt because it's pretty open. Well, when it's windy, guess what? All the antelope are on the lee side of a hill or a cut or a draw. You look at that, okay. Well, you don't have quite that visual effect when you're elk hunting. You can't quite see that well. But I hunt elk in heavy wind in the same kind of places. All right, where's it going to be out of the wind? Where's it going to kind of come off the ridge and circle and create this, oh, they have a name for it, and I forget it now. Anyhow, it creates like this eddy effect on the other side because a strong wind comes, and it's not like when the wind clips over the top of the ridge, it just keeps going. It creates this updraft right there, and so they bed in those places, has been my experience. The good part about a windy day is you can get by with a little bit more movement and a little bit more noise. But I hate wind. We were watching some deer the other day in a high wind when we were down in Arizona, and as quick as they get out of the cover, they're like schizophrenic, man. I think it's because all the vegetation is moving, everything's moving, and if you look at rods and cones in the vision of deer and how they have to see contrast is more of what they're doing, and everything's moving, I think it's harder for them to see. This is strictly my observation of years of hunting. Animals seem way spookier in the wind, and I wish I had a good answer to that question, but I suck at hunting in the wind. I don't know what else to say. It's just, oh well, it's just how it is. What have I done with all my elk ivories? I have a whole drawer full of them out in my shop, and I keep trying to figure out what am I going to do with all these. I don't know. Maybe someday I'll just give them to somebody. I told my wife I'd make her some jewelry out of it, and she just rolled her eyes like, oh, great. Let's see.
How about what's the easiest hunt out west for a first-time elk hunter?
What's the easiest hunt out west for a first-time elk hunter? Whew, boy, that's got a lot of variables to it. Depends on if you're talking rifle or archery. Depends on if you're talking cow or bull. I think the easiest one is a rifle cow elk hunt. You're going to come out here. You're going to have higher odds of success, higher odds of seeing animals. You're probably going to get this wonderful amount of great meat to take home. But once you say, okay, I've done the cow hunt thing, what's the greatest odds of success with, you want to go and hunt bulls? Really, if you're talking about odds of success versus just the opportunity, odds of success are going to be to apply in all these western states and draw one of the limited entry tags with low hunting pressure. Those have much higher success rates. But you don't want to wait forever. So go to some of the states where at least you have an opportunity every year. Colorado, pretty close to every year in Montana, Idaho. Places where you can go and learn an area. And it might take you 2, 3, 4 years to learn it, but if you keep going back there and hunting the same area and thinking about it and trying hard, don't give up, have your mindset that, you know what, I'm going to have some failures, but a lot of this is just trying to, trial by error, learn by your mistakes sort of thing. You will learn what the elk are doing. You'll learn how the landscape affects how the elk move and at certain times of the year. And after about 2 or 3 years, you'll have that dialed in just as good as some of the locals. So I know that's not a guarantee of success, but if you don't want to wait multiple years to draw in one of these limited entry areas, go to some place where you know you can go every year. And over the course of time, you'll learn that area and you'll become successful. Can anyone...
How old was Matthew when you first took him hunting? And how do you keep youth interested in hunting when they're not seeing a whole lot?
How old was my son when I first took him hunting, and how do you keep youth interested in hunting when you're not seeing a lot? Well, first of all, fun. If you're taking kids hunting, it's not about you, it's about them. So don't take a kid hunting on some brutal hunt. Don't take them when it's 20 below zero. Don't hike them into the ground. Make it fun. And a lot of times when we would go hunting and it was slow, we'd go build a fire, we'd go, collect rocks, we'd go look for fossils. We'd do things that kept the attention span there, that kept it going to the point where the kid, and in this case my son Matthew, was seeing how this natural world works. When you're 7, 8, 10 years old, this is like, wow, how cool is this? And those of us who've been doing it for so long, we kind of take that for granted. For young people, every bit of this is exciting and interesting. Make it exciting and interesting for them. So there's really not an age of when you take them, but take them. I mean, that's for us to have a legacy that gets carried on. It's going to require every one of us create a new hunter. And I try to do it as often as I can. But to me, there really is no quote-unquote age that is right or wrong. Let's see. A lot of Arizona questions tonight. We haven't put our Arizona elk hunt up live yet, have we, Michael? We haven't. We've been on the road so much, we haven't had a chance to edit it out. But we've done an Arizona elk hunt this year, Wyoming, New Mexico, Montana. We're getting ready to go back to Arizona in December. Let's see. I've still got my Montana elk tag. I've got a Wyoming cow tag. I got a lot of elk hunting yet to do. I better get with the program. Let's see. Any advice on late season cow elk in central Montana? Should I focus solely on southwest slopes? No. Or do they hang on the north side at all? It depends. Like right now in Montana, we are having serious winter. We are having winter right now like you normally see in December and January. Tuesday morning here in Bozeman, Montana, out at my house, it was 8 below zero. Yeah, minus 8F. And out at my house, I bet you we have a foot of snow down in the valley. The elk that usually don't come down into my neighbor's pasture until usually January, they're there right now. I mean, I look out my window and there's a herd of elk. So we're having serious winter. So when you ask this question, it's somewhat dependent upon, is it a winter like we're having right now? Or is it a normal year, or is it a really warm year? For me, I'm not just looking at southwest slopes. I'm saying, where is the area that is going to give these cow elk the things that they need? And we always say that cow elk are looking for food, 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 and more food. So where's the best forage? That's where you're going to find these elk. And a lot of times, the best forage is probably going to be down lower, where it's more green, more lush. Or it's going to be on an east slope, possibly a north slope if there's some openings. Burns are always great. Even this time of year, burns can still be really good. So go find the food, and you're going to find the elk. That's why the cow elk are down in my neighbor's pasture right now. That's where the best food is. And I'm not saying go to my neighbor's place and say, hey, can I shoot one of those elk? My point is the elk are there because that place provides something they need. Food. And cow elk, this question was about cow elk. Cow elk need food and food and food. So I don't care what state it is. The question was about central Montana. Wherever it is, find the best food, and that's where you're going to find the cow elk. Let's see. I'm on my 4th year of archery elk hunting. I'm getting closer each hunt. How long did it take you to fill your first archery tag? Well, I didn't grow up in an archery family. So I was a rifle hunter until I think I bought my first bow in 1993. And I hunted and I hunted and I hunted, and I had so many close encounters. It was crazy. I did not release an arrow at an elk until 2008. Yeah, 15 years of walking around with a bow in my hand. I just, because I didn't come from an archery family and an archery culture, it's like, well, am I sure this thing's going to work? Is this broadhead really going to do what they say it does? And I had some unbelievable opportunities that I passed up. And to some of these longtime friends who put up with me passing all the time, I appreciate it. Some of them just finally said, Newberg, I'm done hunting with you. I'm going to shoot at anything. Finally, I shot at a bull in 2008, lucked out, killed him, and then it seemed to get a lot easier. So you said you're only in your 4th season? Well, even with a rifle, it took me 6 seasons. And I've been hunting elk now for 27 years. My first 6, 7 years were every possible mistake I could make, I made. It was trial and error, and I just kept trying and trying and trying, learning from mistakes. And now I get the benefit of going on anywhere from 4 to 8 elk hunts a year in different conditions, different places, different weapon type. So I get to make a lot more mistakes, and I get to learn a lot more in the process. So what do you got over there, Michael?
What's your go-to skinning knife?
My go-to skinning knife. We've done some videos on this. Gerber just came out with the new Big Game Vital. It is, we did this just last month. We did 2 elk and a moose with these Big Game Vitals. They're bigger. It's a replaceable blade, and man, is it sharp. And it's bigger. You can really lay the torque to it. The blade has a thickness to it that's more than what you see on the small scalpel blades. And you can really put the pressure to it. And it stays sharp for a long, long time. So that's what I'm using. I don't see myself, unless they improve it, which we're working on some ideas with the Gerber folks. It definitely is something you should check out. Gerber Big Game Vital. Where can you find bull elk right now during hunting season, especially with all this snow? All right, let's think about what an elk does. We are now in the late season. Remember, we talked about the 5 periods on the elk calendar. Early season, pre-rut, peak rut, post-rut, late season. For me, anything after November 1st is late season. Late season, elk, the cows and young bulls have left the summer range. In a heavy winter like this, they've migrated already through the transition range, and they're close, if not already on the winter range. The bulls come behind them. Bulls can deal with a lot more snow, the older mature bulls, and a lot more cold. So those bulls, they're still going to be working away because, and when I say working away, I mean working away from the winter range, because the winter range in Montana right now, the snow is up, up to your waist. The elk have to start moving then. So they're going to be somewhere in the transition range, and they're going to be in what we call sanctuaries. You hear us talk about it a lot. There are places that, due to distance, topography, terrain, just the challenge of getting there or getting an elk out, most hunters don't want to go there. And these mature bulls are now in their bachelor groups as of about now, and you're going to see them. They're going to be in pockets that, wow, look at that. You're glassing and you're like, oh, there's bulls over there. And you look at it, it's like, man, there's hardly no way to approach it. No wonder they're there. They feel safe there. It's a quote-unquote sanctuary. So this time of year, elk hunting is a glassing game. And from now until whenever your season closes, glass, 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 be ready. I sit up there with my gold ring spotter and I'm just looking around, or with my binos. And if I see something, I'll get my spotter. Now it's the late season. That's really the game is about glassing, find them, and then figure out how to shoot them. And even if you can't get there that night or that afternoon, they're going to be there the next morning. Walk in there in the dark the next day and be ready. So to me, this is one of the more consistent times that you can predict what mature bull elk are going to do. And you just got to put in your time and check enough of these areas, and pretty soon you'll find them.
Somebody wants to know how many grouse you shot this year and a good grouse recipe.
How many grouse did I shoot this year? I only shot 1. I'm embarrassed. My buddy Bart screwed me up on 3 of them that day because the elk were bugling. He's like, come on, we got to go get those elk. I'm like, no, there's grouse right here. Grouse recipe, there's a million recipes for it. For me, I like it really simple. I like a little lemon pepper, just a little bit of olive oil on the grill, really a low temperature but quick. Ooh, yeah, sign me up for that. I can't believe I only shot 1 grouse this year. I should be fired for only shooting 1 grouse, but Let's see, Randy, I had a shot on a bull walking straight away from me at 100 yards into the timber. I choose not to shoot. Would you have taken the shot? Probably not. Walking away, I'm probably not taking that shot. When we were in Arizona, and you'll see this when we air that hunt, it was a tough shot. We are in there. It's thick timber. The bull is bugling to the camera guy over here. We had 2 camera guys. One is bugling. They're talking back and forth. Me and the other camera guy sneak in there, and I have a really narrow window to thread this through, and the bull is looking not straight at me, but all I have is the point of the shoulder right here. And it was 96 yards. I took the shot offhand, and it worked out perfectly. But if I have any discomfort, and it sounds like you probably had some discomfort about your shot, don't take it. There's no shot worth the headache, the mess, the guilt, the everything else. You know what? You'll get your chance at some other time. But hey, I don't know. Did I talk about this bow? Did we talk about this, Michael? Are they asking questions about it?
They're just asking what the bow would.
Go to bowtecharchery.com. Today was the release day. Today is when the world got to know about the new smart bow from Bowtech. And you can see this one here is in the Sitka subalpine pattern. There's a lot of cool things, some different things on this Bowtech that when you shoot it and you feel how quiet it is and just how soft it is on release, you're like, whoa. This one here is decked out. A lot of people ask what sight I use. This is a 5-pin. It's a black gold Ascent sight. And then this rest right here is a ripcord Ace. And the quiver that I'm going to put on here, rumor has it the tight spot's going to eventually get this subalpine pattern on their quiver. And so I'm kind of holding out for that and see if they get it. I'm pretty sure they are. In fact, I talked to Sitka today, and they told me, yeah, we're working to get that to them. So, but go to your Bowtech Pro Shop, and this one is the Raumax. They have, well, as you know how it works. A few different models, fit different draw lengths, different axle to axle. It is so light and so smooth. A lot of times when you pick up a really light bow, you're like, oh, this thing's going to have some jerk to it, or it's going to be loud. Not this one. I got to shoot it a few weeks ago when they were in town. They had a bunch of samples, and I was impressed then. But now that I have my own, I'm even more impressed. So.
When you're still on the topic of bows and stuff, people want to know if you prefer fixed or mechanical broadheads.
Okay, we've answered it many times. Since we're talking about bows, people ask, do I prefer fixed or mechanical? I'm a fixed broadhead guy. I think most guys who hunt a lot of elk, you'll see that they are very much fixed blade guys. Part of it is in places like Idaho, you can't even use mechanicals. And given how good fixed blades can shoot today, you know, it used to be people are like, oh, they don't shoot nearly as good as mechanicals. For me, they shoot just like my field points. So I want something that is one less device that's going to fail me. And mechanicals, you know, it's a mechanical device. It's got to open. It's on impact. It's going to take a little bit of the energy. There's all kinds of things that are different. And I understand it's a controversial thing because some people are die-hard mechanical guys. And if you are, that's fine. But the question was asked of me, and I'm a fixed blade, 125 grain guy. Hit them hard. Hopefully get great penetration. Let's see. How do you know if you are becoming a better elk hunter if you are not killing anything? Because you're having more encounters. You're seeing more elk. You're getting closer. You feel like every time it's like, oh, just that close. That's when you know you're getting to be a better elk hunter. Yeah, that's why I tell people. People think because I get to hunt elk a lot now and we have a lot of success that it was always this easy for me. I was the worst elk hunter that ever landed on this planet when I started. But I'm below average in everything I do. but there's one place where I excel, and that's kind of bullheadedness and determination. I don't give up. And so that's, hey, Lester, Arizona Unit 9 late bull elk tag. Any tips? I can't give you those tips because I'm going to be down there with my buddy Jerry. I wish I could tell you. The question is, sit water or hike? I've had that tag before. If you sit water, you're going to have a lot of company, I'll tell you that. Hiking, hiking glass is what I would do. I do a lot of glassing, a lot of hiking. And you get a lot of people who sit water in the morning and evening. In the evening, it takes a while for the bulls to get to the water because water is a valuable commodity in Arizona. A lot of it is man-made water sources, so everyone knows where they're at. The bulls, a lot of times, they're not going to get there during shooting light. They're bedding a mile or 2 miles away, and they're up on their feet, but they're moving towards the water source, and they're not even there by the time shooting light ends. So find yourself some good trails, some good glassing, some good vantage points, somewhere close to that water, and intercept them before the bull gets to the water. And all the other guys will be sitting there saying, man, I just heard a shot over there about a mile away. Well, you shot the bull that was on the way to the water. But, Randy, what are your thoughts about Montana Fish, Wildlife, and Parks closing down a portion of the area near Gardner for the elk migration? I think it's a good idea. A lot of people are saying, oh, I can't believe they're doing it. They've never done that before. No, they've done it many times. Eagle Creek, Deckard Flats, all that stuff. If you've read the regulations for years and years, it always says Fish, Wildlife, and Parks reserves the right to close this area at a moment's notice. And right now we're having this serious weather event. If you've been following the discussion, they've been worried about that herd down there for quite some time now, at least as it relates to the mature bull to cow ratio. I'm not going to second guess them. I think they're trying to do what they think is best for the resource, and they're closing it from November 7th to November 12th. So they're closing it for 6 days, and then they're going to reopen it. So not the end of the world. Hopefully it works, and it works good. Someone's asking, how often do I shoot my bow? Daily, once a week, year-round, or just summer leading up to archery season? Well, when I'm on the road this time of year, I don't get to shoot my bow nearly as much as I'd like. I have an archery range at my house. I have some acreage where I can shoot out to 70 yards. I just do that for practice. My last pin only goes to 50. But I try to shoot daily. And when you have a range in your yard, it's so easy and convenient. Morning before I have a cup of coffee, I go out and I'll shoot 3, 6 arrows, something. I like to shoot groups of 3. And I might shoot 2 groups. And then over the lunch hour, maybe I'll just shoot 1 group. And then in the evening, maybe I'll shoot 2 more groups. And I focus more on what is my first arrow. I try to make all 3 of them what a first arrow would be, because let's face it, your first arrow is the most important arrow. So that's what I try to replicate with my shooting when it comes to archery time. And I do it every day, multiple times a day, as quick as I can, quick as the snow is gone. We have a lot of great places in Montana. The indoor bow shop that I go to, Big Sky Archery, great guys. You can do indoor winter leagues. Unfortunately, I'm a CPA in my other life, and it's tax season, so I don't get a lot of time to do that much of it. But how much do I scout before I hunt? Lots. As quick as I get a tag, I am e-scouting, and if you go to our YouTube channel, you'll see where I do all this e-scouting stuff. We've done videos on it. And what I mean is I'm at my computer scouting using every electronic digital resource I can. And a lot of times when we go and try to do the hunt, we have 5 days to do the hunt. Sometimes I'll drop a day off the end and come a day early so that I can scout that day. 1 day of scouting for me on the front end is worth the last day of hunting on the back end. Scouting is the ticket for me. If we didn't scout a lot, and if we didn't have the resources we have like OnX and Go Hunt and all these other things, we have a big Hunt Talk forum. If you go out there, if you're tactful about how you ask for information, you're going to get a lot of good information on places like that. So I spend a lot of time scouting, so it's very, very important to what we do. Again, I want to make sure that everybody knows who is making this Elk Talk Live broadcast, whatever you want to call it, possible. It's Bowtech, it's Leupold, Onyx, Tight Spot, Black Gold, Ripcord, Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation, GoHunt.com. Those groups are paying all the freight for this. They make this entire thing possible. Every Wednesday night we try to do it. We're going to be able to do it next Wednesday night. The Wednesday night before Thanksgiving, I think we're going to be able to do it. I think we've figured out how we're going to do it out in the woods. But we'll keep you updated on that. The other thing that we always ask people to do is if you can, if you're a subscriber to Amazon Prime, you get to watch our Fresh Tracks TV series for free on Amazon Prime. If you like podcasts, hopefully you'll go out to iTunes or Stitcher or iHeartRadio, a bunch of them, or watch it on our YouTube channel. We have a podcast called Hunt Talk Radio. The subtitle is Randy Newberg Unfiltered. And we get on some crazy topics, marital advice, elk hunting, you name it. There's stuff there. And then we have our big YouTube channel. It's called Randy Newberg Hunter. We got tons of stuff there. A lot of the questions that get asked here, you can find those answers out on our YouTube channel. In fact, we're going to start with Bowtech. We're working on some videos about this new bow. There'll be a lot of stuff out there once we get off the road and we can start shooting bows again. There'll be a lot of stuff on that. So if you can watch us in those places, that's great. And again, I think I may have written down the number to text for notifications. Is everyone getting through a 77353 or is it 77453? Hopefully they'll answer. I apologize, but when I said 77453, a bunch of people said, no, it's not working. We're getting in with 77353. So we'll have that straightened out before next week, I promise you. What else we got, Michael? Holy cow, we got a lot of stuff here. You people ask so many cool questions. I wish we could get to them all.
When should you replace your bowstrings and cables?
When should you replace your bowstrings and cables? For me, I don't replace my cables that much. I wax my string. I maintain it very meticulously because we don't want to have a problem. A lot of it depends on where you're hunting. Is it getting a lot of abuse from scraping it against deadfalls and cactus or whatever? Are they starting to fray? I don't think that there's necessarily a time frame. I would measure it in number of arrows and amount of miles you put on it. And you just got to look at it and say, you know what? That's looking pretty tough. I better go get this thing restrung. And I'll take it out to my pro shop and say, hey, Bill, Gabe, what do you guys think? Oh, you're good. Or they'll look at it and say, Randy, let us replace that. So I don't think there's any science to it. Someone wants to ask are there any clues as to what is my wife's secret steak marinade? They obviously watched our YouTube clip where we marinated a moose tenderloin roast. So many people ask for it, and she tells me I can't give that secret away. So I apologize for that. But pretty soon, I think we're going to get the chance. Someone's asking, do I like the newer long-range scopes for rifles? I shoot Leupold gold ring scopes on all my rifles. I have since I was a teenager. I love all those Leupold ones, and they have them for every setup. They have, you got to go to their website, and you will see Leupold's gold ring series of scopes, whether it's the VX3, the VX5, the VX6, even the VX1 and 2. Remarkable quality. The CDS system is what I use, and they also have an actual There's a different turret system. The CDS system is called the custom dial system, where you give them their load and you just spin it to what the range is and set it, and it moves your crosshairs accordingly. Some of their more military, tactical, and their long-range scopes don't necessarily go with those dials. They go with turrets that are, you'll hear people talk about mills or MOAs or all kinds of different terminology for it. But Leupold has some amazing scopes for every purpose, from long range to just normal hunting ranges. I'm very, very impressed with those. Let's see. Someone says, Randy, it is 77453. All right. Well, good. I'm glad to hear. Text Randy, R-A-N-D-Y, to 77453. We got any more stuff, Michael? How did this already go for 50 minutes? I feel like we just got started. I could sit here for a couple more hours, but we got to get to eastern Montana tomorrow. We got to take at least a couple more questions, though, for all these people. Here, someone just said, Joel says, I love my Leupold Mark IV long-range LR/T mil-dot reticle. Thanks for chiming in on that. Well, Randy, what can I do to become a better hunter during the off-season? Research and study. I read books. I still read books. Any book I can get my hand on that talks about the biology, the physiology, the habits, the whatever it is about elk, about antelope, whatever, I read them. I got to be able to think like an elk. So there's that. There's the research of areas, of units. There's always the staying in shape. There's the practice. There's no shortage of things. In fact, you'll probably do so many things your boss or your spouse will say, hey, you know, there's something other than elk hunting going on in this world. So there's just a ton of things that you can do. Oregon Roosevelt elk hunting in my future? Boy, I sure hope so. It's got to be pretty soon. My son just moved to Oregon very recently. And Matthew, if you're listening, you better get this Roosevelt elk thing dialed in, because I plan on coming there and hunting Roosevelt elk someday. So this is, I think we answered this in one of the very first series of Elk Talk Live, but it's a good question. Would I hunt an area that I'm very familiar with but is crowded during a rifle season, or would I move to a unit I'm unfamiliar with for the fact of less crowds? There's some kind of mix there. It depends on what crowded or less crowds really is, but I'll stick to areas I know. I'll know how elk behave due to hunting pressure. I'll know how they behave due to weather, due to wind, due to all kinds of things. When I go to a new spot, it's really, you're trying to get back up the learning curve again. So my default answer would be, I would lean more towards the unit that has a little more crowds, but I'm very familiar with, versus a new unit that has less crowds. So what do you got over there, Michael? You got like 14 tabs open. You're looking at Michael is monitoring the black gold page, the tight spot page, Botac. Holy cow. What do you got?
Somebody wants to know if you're Arizona Coues deer hunting this year.
Am I Arizona Coues deer hunting? Yes, I am. That's where this new realm is going to get its first voyage. Unless I decide to hunt here in Montana, we have late whitetail doe seasons that run in January. So maybe I'll do that. But yeah, I'm going to be in Arizona hunting Coues deer. Me, David Brinker from Sitka Gear is going to be there. We're going to have Hank Shaw come and join us. Those of you who are into the great cooking that Hank writes about, Duck, Duck, Goose, and Buck, Buck, Moose are his books. He's going to join us. Rumor has it that my buddies over at the Meat Eater are going to come down. We're going to spend a couple days podcasting down there. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Last year was the first year I did archery Coues deer in Arizona. And I will promise you, if you go and do archery Coues deer in Arizona, and from what I could see, 99% of it happens on public land, you will go there every year. And here's the great deal. For archery, it's over the counter. It's what's called a non-permit tag. You just go down to the sporting goods store or Walmart and you buy the tag. You don't have to draw. And it is so fun. There are so many deer. And those little buggers, last year I had 2 of them really, really close. This year, if I get that close, I'm letting an arrow go and I'm coming home with a Coues deer. Some way, shape, or form. So yes, I will be there. I will be there until they plant me in the ground. Every January, you can count on Randy Newberg being in Arizona with his bow, chasing Coues deer. What do we got, Michael?
How many cameramen have you been through since you started 10 years ago?
Whew, how many cameramen have I been through since Michael's the camera guy over here. He's probably thinking, oh gosh, I hope it's not too many. Well, I used to use a contract production company, and they had lots of camera guys. They tried to give me the same 2 or 3 each season, but I don't know. Marcus has been here now for 3 seasons. Michael, this is his first season. Tyler's been here for 4 seasons, and that's kind of our crew right now, and I don't see that changing going forward. So I really haven't been through any since I've taken over all of the production from the former company, Warm Springs, that used to do it as contract production. Oh, someone also pointed out that if you apply, and the deadline was October 10th, I think, when you go down hunting Coues deer, you can hunt javelina if you draw the tag. The downside is javelina season closes on January 25th this year, and that's the day I get there, so I didn't apply for the javelina tag this year just because of my calendar. But last year I had both, and it was a ton of fun. Someone says Bowtech Archery should make a Randy Newberg edition bow. Hey, come on, we don't want them to go out of business, man. We want Bowtech to succeed and keep building great bows. They put my name on something, it could be a curse. So I appreciate the support, but oh gosh. All right, Michael, I'm going to take one more question here. What's the best question we have? Oh, and for those of you who provided questions across all these platforms, OnX is going to randomly pick 2 of you guys. So I don't know who it's going to be. You guys are so funny. Someone says, when composing a hunt, I always ask myself, WWRND, what would Randy Newberg do? That's funny. That's Please don't think about it in those terms. Your hunt will fall apart immediately. Oh, gosh. Tips for finding elk in the high desert of Wyoming. Glass. Glass, glass, glass. I have seen elk in some of the places of Wyoming where I'm antelope hunting where I'm like, that elk is lost. And I go over the ridge, I look, and there's a herd of 40 of them. Glass and be mobile. That's one thing I think a lot of people fail to realize how mobile elk can be. They can be really mobile. Eastern Montana's got, you will see elk here today, and tomorrow they'll be 6-7 miles away. Some of these more open country areas, flatter country, elk have so much mobility, it's unbelievable. So yeah, if you're hunting a spot like that in Wyoming, glass and be mobile and move. So, well, with that, Michael, I think, are we close to a wrap here? Should we call it quits? Because we still got to pack all this camera gear, podcast gear, and everything, because we're going to have so much fun in Eastern Montana tomorrow and the next day and the next day and the next day. When we're here next week, we'll tell you the whole story about it. But Michael is now officially a Montana resident. Is that right, Michael?
That's right.
You've been here long enough. He's been working for us long enough. He went down the other day, bought his deer tag. We're going to let the camera guy, Michael, is going to fill his Montana deer tag this week. After Cushman, after our guest hunter fills his, Michael's on deck.
We're that confident that we're going to get Cushman one.
Oh, Michael says we're that confident that Cushman's getting his right away. But anyhow, it's the time of year we all live for, right? September, October, November. Oh, gosh. I wish those 3 months lasted all year long. But anyhow, thanks to all the companies who are doing this, who are making this possible. You've heard me rattle them off, right? Please support them. And thank you for watching. Thanks for your questions, and we'll see you again next week. Man, that went fast. How can it go that fast?
All right.
We done? Let's see.